24 years ago, optimal speech pathology began as a very small concern with myself seeing a few private clients from my home. We very quickly expanded into a very dynamic group servicing multiple private hospitals across Sydney. We really broke new ground in offering on-call services to ICU departments, to rehabilitation programs, and we had a large team of very experienced clinicians. And that reputation for experience and dedication has followed optimal speech pathology throughout the almost 24-year journey. I can't reflect on the last 24 years of optimal speech pathology without thinking about the extraordinary clinicians that have worked within our team. So we have clinicians that have been researchers, have been clinical supervisors, and many of those have stayed with us over a very long period of time, which means we're doing something right. Equally, I have loved seeing younger clinicians coming into the practice that bring with them a whole different level of energy and awareness of evidence, and really keep us on our toes so that we're not complacent. So I think that we've struck a really good balance within optimal speech pathology of having a foundation of very experienced clinicians, but having a continued flow through of younger, exciting clinicians within our group as well. And I feel like that has been a great formula for our longevity. I'd like to think that people associate optimal speech pathology with innovation. I feel like we've been brave as a practice and open to new evidence and emerging research, and that has translated into several areas of clinical and professional innovation, which I feel very proud of. So around 8 years ago, I was very fortunate recipient of a grant from Parkinson's Voice Project and travelled to Texas along with the first group of Australian speech pathologists. And we brought that program, the Speak Out Therapy program, to Australia, and that's since grown beautifully. And equally, I've been really proud to see how many other practices have taken on that particular intervention for preservation of voice and swallow in Parkinson's. In the same way, more recently, we've been looking at home-based rehabilitation for swallowing, realising that it's really difficult to get a high level of intensity that is required for rehabilitation of skill-based swallow. And we're working with a fantastic group from New Zealand, Swaltech, and looking at biofeedback in the home, so that people actually get some idea of whether they're swallowing strong or swallowing with skill. And the insights from that are tremendous. I'll just make one further note of something that I think was a brave new frontier at the time. That's I stepped into a role of being a witness intermediary. In fact, I was the first witness intermediary in the New South Wales justice system to step into the courts. And that was driven very much by our caseload here at Optimal Speech Pathology. So we have got a large number of clients that continue to interact with the justice system post brain injury or other incidents. And I often felt like the system was unnecessarily complex for people with communication impairments. And so when the opportunity came to be trained as a witness intermediary, I really relished the opportunity to represent support clients and the courts in that setting. And it was a wonderful professional highlight, but I think we learned a lot from it as a practice about how we need to support our clients in complex communication situations. Advocacy has been something that has been associated with our practice for many years. So we often volunteer our time to present to self-help groups, to Parkinson's New South Wales, to our professional education programs, because we believe very much in spreading the word about the work we do, but also in allowing or facilitating our clients to share their stories. So where we have taken on advocacy, we've also expected our clients to take on advocacy roles as well. So we commonly co-present with our clients. So I did a lovely series of workshops with a fantastic group of people with aphasia, going into Rotary clubs to raise awareness about aphasia. We've helped clients present at major brain injury forums throughout New South Wales, throughout Australia. Our Parkinson's clients are incredibly active in fundraising, in taking board roles with Parkinson's New South Wales, in presenting at Parliament House. So I think that when people become part of the optimal community, they recognise that their stories are important, and we want to help them share their stories. And that advocacy is a very important part of what we do. One area of clinical change that I've observed over the last 24 years has been a growth in manualised treatment approaches. So within almost every area of our practice now, there are quite structured, well-researched programs in our aphasia interventions, in our motor speech interventions, even in our dysphagia interventions. And I think that gives us an enormous level of confidence that we are providing highly replicable treatments, highly evaluated treatments, and it feels like a really big step from what did exist before, with a lot more ad hoc kind of treatment approaches, a lot more workbooks. Now almost everything is very well structured, but also able to bend and be adjusted for particular clients. And I think that ability to provide personalisation and really salient treatment approaches benefits all of us. So it keeps clients highly engaged. It allows their family to see the relevance immediately of what we're doing. And as clinicians, it requires us to continually be thinking more about how we can adapt those manualised programs for our particular setting at Optimal Speech Pathology. Digital service delivery has always been a feature of optimal speech pathology. Way back when there was a plethora of apps becoming available for use on mobile devices, we used to run app newsletters and ran some app education sessions on how to make therapy smarter and more accessible for our clients. In the same way, when teleservice delivery became a real possibility, we really looked at how to make that easy for our clients to access, and particularly our regional clients. We felt that was a really important way of being able to connect between face-to-face sessions, so that when the pandemic came along, we were already well and truly using those technologies to supplement traditional face-to-face settings. And I feel like it's a very similar area of explosion of new opportunities right now with the impact of AI. So as a practice, we've been using AI for obviously administrative things with transcription of note-taking and so on, but many of our therapies are now have AI embedded options. And so we particularly make use of some generative programs for helping us generate very customized, salient therapy materials. And I love that some of the AI platforms allow that. And I love that patients get to experience materials that are so relevant to them, and we know how important that is for generalization. So it's a great era to be part of. Part of our practice's reputation for commitment to evidence-based practice comes from our partnership with some research projects over the years. So we not only refer clients to clinical trials, we have as clinicians been involved in some of the work with conversibility and interactability through University of Sydney, looking at dynamic technology assessment with UTS. And it feels really terrific to see our clients work alongside us in some of those roles. So we now sit on advisory committees with some of our former clients, and it's research done at its best when you have clinicians and clients and researchers all working together for a joint outcome. In a more day-to-day kind of way as a practice, we share a lot of knowledge, so we're scrutinising the research constantly, and we also have we're really fortunate to have an expansive professional network, and we're absolutely thrilled to have people, high caliber speakers coming in to talk to our group in the evenings, and make sure that our knowledge is as up to date as it possibly can be. And our greatest knowledge source is our clients, so they are often sending us research papers and articles to say, what do you think about this? And it raises the bar for us necessarily that we need to be able to facilitate research understanding within our group and with our client group. So I'd like to think our whole OSP community is evidence aware. Without a doubt, the thing that makes optimal speech pathology special is our clients. So our clients are an endless source of inspiration. So I love working clinically to this day, after almost 40 years of working as a speech pathologist. And when we're interviewing, we say to people, we can guarantee you are going to love working with our clients. Our clients we see clients across a number of a broad spectrum of clinical presentation, including traumatic brain injury, voice disorders, Parkinson's disease, functional neurological disorders, motor neuron disorders, stroke, and so on. And we see them in varied settings. So we do have a large proportion of clients that we see by telehealth now because we have a big regional caseload, but we also offer services from 2 beautiful clinic settings. And I feel like our clients know as soon as they begin their program with optimal speech pathology that we really care. And that commitment comes through in terms of our thorough assessments and reports, but more so our ability to really connect. And I feel like that's something that has been with Optimal from the outset and is something that will continue on. And it's something that our clients and their families and our colleagues deserve. And we look forward to the future provision of fantastic speech pathology services. When I imagine the future of optimal speech pathology, I'm invigorated. So we are now in the hands of the very talented Christina, who has an organisational mind like no other person I've ever met, but her clinical knowledge is exceptional, and she will drive us forward in a way that everyone will benefit from. So Christina's ideas for the next era are really exciting to see, and I can't wait to see what's coming in terms of new clinical innovations and new practices for us as a group. And there's so much to learn, and that's a really good feeling at my stage of career to think I'm ready for this new era, and it's exciting, and our clients can already feel a very palpable change. I know our referrers have full confidence going forward, and it's onwards and upwards, and I can't wait.